Psychological warfare. Right now, people are playing games with you every single day. Games designed to manipulate you, confuse you, make you doubt yourself, and give them power over your decisions. And you're losing because you don't even recognize you're in a game. You think these are normal interactions. They're not. They're psychological warfare. And while you're playing nice, others are playing to win. The brutal reality. People use psychological games as weapons. They distort your reality to make you question your sanity. They bring in third parties to invalidate your perspective. They deny your emotions so you think you're overreacting. They make you feel guilty for having boundaries. They weaponize their suffering to manipulate your compassion. Every single day, people are running psychological operations against you, and you're cooperating by not recognizing the game. Stop being naive. Stop thinking people are genuinely trying to connect with you when they're actually trying to control you. Stop accepting their reality frames when you know they're distortions. Stop defending your emotions when you know they're valid. Stop feeling guilty for boundaries. Stop being moved by their self-pity. These are all tactics in psychological games, and you're losing because you refuse to acknowledge they're games. The moment you recognize you're being played, you can flip the game. The moment you understand the tactic, you can use it against them. The moment you see the manipulation, you become the manipulator. This isn't evil, it's survival. It's refusing to be psychologically dominated by people who are actively trying to dominate you. Machiavelli understood that those who recognize manipulation can counter it, while those who deny manipulation exists become victims to it. He watched people use identical tactics repeatedly, always with fresh victims who didn't recognize patterns. You're about to stop being a victim by learning to recognize and reverse every game. This video reveals 5 psychological games people play daily and exactly how to flip each game so you become the winner instead of the loser. Now drop this affirmation. I see the games clearly. Machiavelli's understanding of psychological warfare. Machiavelli documented that wars are won first in perception, not reality. Those who can control how situations are interpreted control the outcome. Psychological games are wars fought in perception. People try to make you perceive yourself as wrong, overreacting, broken, selfish. When you recognize these are perception wars, not reality, you can control the interpretation and therefore control the outcome. 1. The gaslighting game. That never happened. You're remembering wrong. Here's the first game. Someone denies events that absolutely happened. You know what happened. They deny it happened. You provide details. They insist they never said that. You remember clearly. They rewrite history. This is gaslighting, making you doubt your reality so you become dependent on their version of truth. When you accept their denial, you're agreeing that your memory is unreliable, that your perception is broken, that you need them to interpret reality for you. This is psychological domination through doubt. They're not disputing your interpretation. They're denying the event itself, forcing you into a loop of defending reality. The game works because you keep trying to convince them they're wrong. The more you argue, the more they insist they never said it, the more you doubt yourself. They're winning through your doubt. Here's how to flip it. Stop defending reality to them. Stop trying to convince them what happened. Instead, respond with absolute certainty. I know what happened. Whether you remember it that way or not doesn't change what I know to be true. Then end the conversation. Don't argue. Don't provide more details. Don't seek their validation of your memory. The flip. You stop playing their game of seeking their reality confirmation. You become certain in your own reality. They can deny all they want. You know what happened. Your certainty breaks their gaslighting game, because gaslighting only works if you engage in the debate. When you refuse the debate and operate from certainty, you win. The brutal practice. Next time someone denies something that happened, state it once clearly. This is what happened. If they deny, don't repeat. Just respond, I know what happened. You can believe whatever you want. Then move on. Stop debating reality with them. Your certainty is the counter to their denial. Drop this affirmation. I trust my perception. 2. The triangulation game. Other people agree with me that you're wrong. Pay attention to this game. Someone brings in third parties to invalidate your perspective. Everyone thinks you're being unreasonable. My friends all agree with me. Even mutual friends said you were overreacting. They're using group agreement to make you feel like the crazy one, and they're the sane majority. This game works because humans are social creatures. When we're told everyone disagrees with us, we doubt ourselves. We think maybe we are the problem if so many people agree with the other person. We become isolated in our perspective and therefore vulnerable. The reality, you don't know what those other people actually said. This person is selectively reporting feedback that supports their position. They're using imagined consensus as a weapon. Whether other people agree or not has nothing to do with whether you're right. Here's how to flip it. Completely ignore the alleged agreement of third parties. Respond. What other people think doesn't change what I think. If you want to discuss this with me, we can. If you want to talk about what others allegedly said, that's a different conversation. Then don't engage with the triangle. Don't defend against alleged third-party agreement. The flip. You refuse the triangulation by refusing to care what others supposedly think. The game only works if you're vulnerable to social pressure. When you operate from internal certainty, regardless of imagined group opinion, the game collapses. The brutal practice. Next time someone tells you everyone thinks, respond with indifference. That's their opinion. Here's mine. Don't ask who said what. Don't defend against alleged group consensus. Just state your position and move on. Your refusal to be moved by triangulation breaks the game. Drop this affirmation. I refuse to be psychologically dominated by others. 3. The emotional invalidation game. You're overreacting. You're being too sensitive. Here's how this game operates. Someone dismisses your valid emotions as overreactions. You're upset about real disrespect. They tell you you're being too sensitive. You're hurt by real betrayal. They tell you you're overreacting. They're redefining your legitimate emotional responses as problems with you instead of problems with their behavior. This game makes you stop trusting your emotions. If your emotions are always overreactions, you learn to distrust your emotional signals. You become emotionally numb because expressing emotions gets labeled as problems with you. They've taught you that your natural human responses to their poor behavior are your failure, not their failure. The game works because you keep trying to explain why your emotions are justified. The more you explain, the more they insist you're being dramatic. You're trapped in defending whether your emotions are valid when the issue is whether their behavior was acceptable. Here's how to flip it. Stop defending your emotions. Stop explaining why your feelings are justified. Just state the emotion. I feel hurt, angry, betrayed. If they say you're overreacting, respond, I feel what I feel. My emotional response to your behavior is valid. Then end discussion. Don't debate whether your emotions are reasonable. The flip, you shift from defending your emotions to affirming them. Their opinion about whether your feelings are justified becomes irrelevant. You're not asking for their permission to feel. You're informing them of your reality. When you stop defending emotions and start affirming them, the invalidation game loses power. The brutal practice. Next time someone tells you you're overreacting, respond, this is how I feel about your behavior. Whether you think it's reasonable doesn't change that it's how I feel. Then don't elaborate. Your emotions are data about your experience. You don't need their validation. Drop this affirmation. I choose awareness over virtue. 4. The guilt trip game. After everything I've done for you, how could you be so selfish? Pay attention to this manipulation. Someone reminds you of past help or sacrifices, specifically to make you feel obligated to abandon your own boundaries. After all I've done for you, you won't help me. I can't believe you're being so selfish after everything. They're weaponizing their generosity to make you feel guilty for having limits. This game makes you feel like you owe infinite repayment for past help. You internalize that boundaries are selfish and that you should sacrifice yourself in gratitude for help previously received. They've taught you that generosity creates permanent debt. The game works because you feel grateful for their past help, and translate that into feeling obligated for future unlimited help. They're leveraging gratitude into control. Here's how to flip it. Reject the debt framing entirely. Respond, I appreciated your help at that time. That help is separate from current boundaries. I'm setting this limit because it's what's healthy for me, not because I'm ungrateful. Then end discussion. Don't defend. Don't explain. Don't negotiate away your boundary. The flip. You separate past help from present boundaries. They're not connected. Help you received doesn't create permanent debt of unlimited future service. You can be grateful for past help while refusing present requests that don't serve you. When you break the connection between past generosity and present obligation, the guilt trip game loses power. The brutal practice. Next time someone tries guilt-tripping you with past help, respond, I'm grateful for that help. This boundary stands anyway. Don't explain why. Don't apologize. Don't feel obligated to repay through sacrificing yourself. Past help and present boundaries are separate things. Drop this affirmation. I control my focus. 5. The victim manipulation game. I'm suffering, so you should help me. Nobody cares about me like you do. Here's the final game. Someone leverages their suffering to manipulate your compassion. They tell you how miserable they are. They make clear that only you understand them. They imply that refusing to help them means you don't actually care. They're weaponizing their pain to extract help and control your behavior. This game makes you responsible for their emotional state. You become their emotional support system, because they've convinced you that without you, they'll fall apart. They've made your help into a life or death necessity, so you can't refuse without feeling like you're causing their destruction. The game works because your compassion is real. You do care. They're weaponizing that caring into control. They want you to see their suffering and decide nothing, not your own well-being, not your own boundaries, matters more than alleviating their pain. Here's how to flip it. Acknowledge their suffering without taking responsibility for solving it. Respond, "I hear that you're suffering. That's difficult. I'm not the person who can fix this." Then suggest actual help. Therapy, crisis resources, other people they can reach out to. But don't make yourself their solution. The flip, you're compassionate without being controlled. You acknowledge their pain without accepting responsibility for managing it. You refuse the implicit bargain that your help is required for their survival. When you stop being their emotional crutch, you break the game. The brutal practice: next time someone plays the suffering game, respond, "I care about you, and I'm not able to be the solution you need. Here's what might actually help." Then suggest professional help or other resources. Don't make yourself the answer to their pain. Your compassion doesn't require sacrificing your boundaries. Drop this affirmation: "I am untouchable in thought. Master the games or lose the game." So here's what these 5 games reveal. Psychological manipulation happens daily through predictable patterns. Gaslighting makes you doubt reality. Stop defending and operate from certainty. Triangulation uses fake consensus. Ignore alleged agreement and stay internally certain. Emotional invalidation dismisses legitimate feelings. Affirm emotions instead of defending them. Guilt trips weaponize past help. Separate past gratitude from present boundaries. Victim manipulation exploits compassion. Acknowledge suffering without taking responsibility for solving it. Every single game loses power when you recognize it as a game. When you see the tactic, you can counter it. When you understand the goal, you can refuse to cooperate with it. You stop being a victim the moment you see the game clearly. Stop playing games where you lose. Stop cooperating with psychological warfare. Start recognizing tactics the moment they're deployed. Start responding with certainty instead of doubt. Start understanding that their manipulation attempts are revealing exactly who they are. People willing to manipulate you for control. Machiavelli would remind you that those who recognize manipulation can counter it, while those who deny it exists become victims to it. You're no longer in denial. You see the games, you see the tactics. Now execute the flips and watch people discover they can't manipulate you anymore. If this taught you to recognize and reverse psychological games, hit that like button. Share it with someone trapped in manipulation cycles. Subscribe for more psychological warfare tactics. Now drop this final affirmation: I am powerful and kind. Stop losing psychological games. Start winning them. Now go flip every manipulation attempt so they discover you're not the victim anymore.